Today I'm going to show you how to rebuild a small vacuum motor. This came out of a Carpet Express C4. You also find these in Rug Doctors. This is the motor itself. We already took part of it apart, but this is what it looks like. The first thing you do is remove this. Now you have several options. You can try to separate these two, or you can remove the 1/2-inch nut in the center and pull the whole fan assembly out. If you do that, then you can put this in a vise, take a screwdriver, and pop it apart. This is what it looks like. Then on the underside you'll have this spool that comes off. Now you may have to put a little heat on it, or a gear puller. It's a little difficult with a gear puller, but a little heat, it comes off. And then we have the second rotating fan, then we have this little cooling fan, then we have the spacer, and it's ready to come apart. On the top end, this is where the brushes are. There's 2 screws on each end, which removes the cap. You pull the brush out, that's on both sides. And then we used a little nut driver, and we back these 2 bolts out. And you may have to tap it with a mallet or a wooden hammer, and it'll come apart. And it exposes the armature and the field. You want to be sure to take this washer off and set it back in the housing. And this is usually the culprit. When these motors go bad, what happens is moisture gets sucked into the vacuum, and it causes this bearing to corrode. So you need a gear puller, and you pull the bearing out and just set your new bearing in place. You may have to put a little screwdriver or a little pair of pliers over it, or a wrench, and just tap it with a hammer till it seats. And then you're ready to go. You can do the same thing. There's a bearing at the top. You can take this little cooling fan off, pop the armature out, and you'll find a little bearing up there as well. That doesn't go out nearly as often. And then to reassemble, it's simple. Just put it back in place, seat it, drive your 2 bolts down. Then we put our brushes in place. And it's interesting when you put the brushes in. Here's the wire, and you'll see there's a little hole here, little sleeve, and that stud goes right in there and fits right in place. And then you bolt it down, and then when you reassemble this side, that's the same thing. You got to put the spacer, the cooling fan, rotating fan. Okay. Then you'll have, oops, here it is. Then you'll have your stationary fan, and then your rotating fan. You got to put the spool in, and there you go. And of course, what I always do is I test the vacuum first, because it may not just be the brushes or bearings, it could be an armature or field, and if the thing's dead, then you're going to have to go a little further. But most of the time, it's simply the bearings, and that's how to do it. It should take you, if you don't have any problems getting this off, it should take you about 20 minutes to complete the job. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at sjclean@netzero.com, or of course you can always go to our website at www.carpetexpress.biz. And I hope you found this video helpful.